I was just watching a clip of Donald Trump at the National Prayer Service, where the lady is speaking about how he should show compassion to migrants and minority communities. The look on Donald Trump's face, you can see he's like, why have you gone there, lady? And other members of his family look really uncomfortable. I'm surprised that she did that, but there you go. So Donald Trump has started his presidency, and someone said to me, I think about a year ago, that Donald Trump is going to pardon Chris Watts, and I said that will never ever happen. But who knows? I mean, I don't think it would. I don't think he would go that far. But I'm not. I'm not in agreement with the people that he's pardoned. His January 6 supporters. I don't think they should have been pardoned. And there's another person he's pardoned, which I don't agree that they've been pardoned either. But it does go to show that Donald Trump is not going to let his supporters, you know, waste away inside. He's got compassion. It does so that he does have compassion for his supporters. He's pardoned a lot of people. Apparently, but Biden is the president that's pardoned the most people. But yeah, I remember someone saying to me that Chris Watts will be pardoned by Donald Trump when he returns to office. And I said, that will never happen. I don't think that will happen. I don't think he would take it that far. But I don't agree with him pardoning his January the 6th supporters at all. I think they deserve what they got. So that's a shame for me. I did watch parts of the inauguration ceremony. And it was nice, even though he wouldn't be the president that I would have chosen, I accept it. I don't live in America, and people will get what they voted for. And it's his choice what he wants to do. I thought the inauguration ceremony was quite nice. I'm not completely Democrat and I'm not completely conservative. I'm somewhere in the middle. On social issues, I'm more democratic. On fiscal issues and financial issues, I'm more conservative. So I'm right down the middle anyway. So I was going to call this the 20 myths in the Watts case, but I decided to call it the 10 myths in the Watts case because there are so many myths in the Watts case. Some of my detractors are people that don't like me because I've said that Nicole Kessinger will never be beside Chris Watts, and that's true. One of the myths of this case is that, and AD was the person who started it, was that this case is still being investigated. It's not. Weld County have moved on. The case is not still being investigated. They have moved on. The other myth in this case is that Nicole Kessinger is going to have to pay for what she did. Well, in Weld County, they don't consider her a suspect and they never have. So no matter how many petitions are signed for Nicole Kessinger to be questioned or charged or whatever, she's never ever going to be where Chris Watts is, and her name is no longer Nicole Kessinger. I have a lot of detractors who don't like me simply because I tell the truth, particularly on Nicole Kessinger. She is never, ever going to be held responsible for what happened in this case, ever. Whether you agree that she should be or not, or whether you think she's, involved or not, that's not the point. But Weld County have said that, this is over, this is closed, this is a closed case. So it's not still being investigated. And Nicole Kessinger, who's no longer Nicole Kessinger anymore because she's changed her name, will never be sitting next to Chris Watts. Never going to happen, no matter how many petitions are signed. The other myth in the Watts case is that Shanann did it. There is absolutely no evidence to suggest that. I suppose she also dug the hole as well at the oil site. I mean, it's ridiculous. And even if she did have anything to do with it, which I don't think she did, an attorney representing the other side would argue that Shanann is being held accountable or blamed as a defense, and an attorney would do very well with that argument as well, because there's no actual proof that Shanann is anything other than the sympathetic figure that she is. Whether you like Shanann or not, based upon what you watched, the videos that you watch, is not the point. The fact of the matter is that she's actually not here to be held accountable or to defend herself. So whether she did have anything to do with it or not, which I absolutely believe she did not, I believe this is all Chris, makes no difference because she's not here. The other myth is that this was apparently a psyops. Bam used to say that. And I'm actually going to do another video one day with the 5 or 10 myths concerning Bam or associated with Bam and her views on this case and other things. And I'm going to probably play a clip at the end of this from her where she's just chatting a whole load of nonsense. So yeah, another myth is that this is a psyops, never happened, and that Shanann is living happily in England. Such rubbish. Where people come up with these stories is just unbelievable to me. The other myth is that Chris is going to get a 35C. That myth has already been debunked a long time ago. He will never get post-conviction relief. People who are inside for what he did and signed all the documents and confessed and all that kind of stuff will never ever be eligible for a 35C. He's not even eligible, and that's the thing. I really haven't wanted to do any podcasts. I'm actually quite struggling because I've just wanted to catch up with EastEnders, watch Netflix, cook. I'm cooking duck noodle soup at the moment. Can't wait to have that. I'm going to have a salad. I'm going to have creme brulee as dessert and a slice of cake. January has been quite cold. When I say cold, I mean it's been one of the coldest starts to January in the last 3 years. The past Januaries have been quite mild in London, but regardless of how cold it is, it's refusing to snow. I had that one snowfall on the weekend a few weeks ago, which I really enjoyed, and then the snow melted after that, and it hasn't come back. So, you know, if I'm going to live somewhere, I've realised a long time ago that England is not the place for me. If I'm going to live somewhere, it's either going to be a sunny place by the beach or near the beach, or it's going to be, if I'm going to live in a country that has 4 seasons, it's got to have a proper winter, because I just prefer, there's no point in having cold weather for me. I mean, people can have different opinions on this. If it's going to be cold, let it snow as well. And I'm really disappointed that we had no snow at Christmas, but then the temperatures were in double figures at Christmas. But yeah, I'm very disappointed with the lack of snow, despite how cold it's been. And I've just wanted to snuggle on the couch, light candles, and like I say, catch up with EastEnders and Netflix and TV shows. So I'm actually quite struggling to do this podcast because I really kind of just want to relax. But I wanted to do this because I wanted to discuss this topic. I've just taken a look at the Nicole Kessinger petition to reopen the case for Nicole Kessinger. And over 5,000 people have signed this petition, including Zawoki, who has promoted this petition on his channel. It boggles my mind that there are so many deluded people out there who actually think that this is going to happen. The petition is already null and void because Nicole Kessinger has changed her name. Her name legally is no longer Nicole Kessinger. So already this petition has no use. It boggles my mind how people, they just live in their own fantasy world. Anyway, I'm going to do the next 5 and then I'm going to end the podcast. I was going to put out a clip of Bam's perspective that she talked about on this case to me, and it was just, she was just talking a load of nonsense. But I just can't be bothered to edit it in this section, and my laptop is playing around, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to tell you what I think the 5 other myths are. For a while, rumours were going around that NK was pregnant with Chris's child. I actually don't know if this is true or not, but I doubt it. You know, I doubt it. I really think that was just a rumour, just another one of the many rumours in this case and the many myths. The other myth, that Chris's confession and the fact that he confided it in his father, his first confession, is true because he admired and looked up to his father. His father was his hero. Yeah, I don't buy that. I think that's another myth. His first confession makes absolutely no sense. No sense at all to me. I do have, I want to say this, I do have a sub who has very different opinions on me on this case, and that's absolutely fine. We don't all have to have the same opinion. These are just my opinions. Who believes the first confession was the more accurate one? I don't, and I believe that it's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. I think his parents want to believe that that version is true because it makes him look like an innocent bystander. Well, in their eyes anyway. To me, it doesn't make him look any better. It still makes him look like the person that he is, because why would you then take your family to your workplace, to the oil site? Never called for help, never called a neighbor, never called anyone. It makes no sense. It doesn't add up. His first confession doesn't add up to me at all. AD was very, very prolific with the things that he would say about the case, and he just told a lot of fictional stories about the case that people believed. Speaking of AD, wasn't he supposed to be in court with the Rusex in October? Was it October? Last October? It's January now. Nothing's happened with that case. Like it's gone on a stall again, which I'll talk about in a moment. But AD once said that there were several people hiding in the basement at the time this all happened, this event occurred. What a load of nonsense. Once again, no proof to show that. Another myth, in my opinion, and Rusex supporters would not agree with me, but this is just my opinion, that the civil case against AD will prevent and set an example and deter others to discuss the case in the same misleading context. Well, we have Woken now. And as far as I'm concerned, he's the next AD. He's a more likable version of AD, but he does pretty much the same thing as AD did regarding Nicole Kessinger. The last one, the number 10, the last myth in this case is that the Watts case is not over. Well, I'm here to tell you it is. That doesn't mean we can't still discuss the case. I don't discuss the case very often anymore. It's not my thing. I'm not the big person. I'm not the big voice on this case because I tell the truth, and people don't want the truth. They want fantasy. But it is over in legal terms. It's over. Nothing else will happen in the case. I just saw that Trump, Donald Trump's granddaughter, has got a YouTube channel, and it looks very nice. And she's got tons of subscribers already, which is understandable. I mean, whether you like Trump or not, there's no way that you can ignore him. He's going to be in the news every single day from now on. I'm surprised he's not as popular as Barack Obama. That he doesn't have as much social media followers as Barack Obama. I really am surprised about that, because he probably will get there, because he's going to be in the news every day. Anyway, I'm going to end this and have my lunch. Thank you very much for listening and watching.